The process of liberation. Within a human being, there is a vast reservoir of spiritual knowledge and pure capability, yet this great treasure is rarely tapped. Our involvement in the world and our entanglement in the struggle for survival limit our awareness to desires and their objects. Like a kaleidoscope, these desires are continuously changing form. The subtle images of shape and color never allow us to really grasp what we think we are seeing. Unless we recognize the kaleidoscope for the illusion it is, much unhappiness and frustration can result. Return to the self within and know your own secret. The universe is inside you, and you are inside the universe. The inner self is the one dancing in all. The primary paradox of unity and diversity recurs at every level. While the process of liberation appears hierarchical at first glance, the orderly image of a ladder of ever higher levels breaks down on close scrutiny. The process is really more like drawing a series of ever-expanding concentric circles. Jiva is in the center, and the Absolute is in the outermost circle, as well as the paper on which it lies, and the pen with which it is drawn. This is a paradox that cannot be neatly resolved through language. Only by continuous and deep contemplation can the nature of this paradox be penetrated and encompassed. What follows is called mukti, liberation. Sound arises in the inner sky of pure consciousness. The heart space in the head, the sky of the heart. What manifests is life power, the One. Nityananda addressed this paradox indirectly through the image of the heart space in the head, the chittakash, the sky of the heart. This verbal image brings together what is above and what is below with intuitive clarity. In the sky of consciousness, there is no duality and no paradox. The question then is how to reach this center. Nityananda directs the seeker to the royal road. A true guru can turn you from the jungle road of ignorance to the royal road of spiritual knowledge. But without the guru, you cannot reach the goal. The paradox is repeated in the form of the guru because the guru has two aspects. Nityananda called these the primary or action aspect of guru and the secondary or causal aspect of guru. On the one hand, there is the physical teacher. This is the personality to be dealt with and talked to, a person who performs actions that have an effect in the world, a being viewed by some with admiration, by others with disgust. In other words, someone viewed by ordinary people as the same or less than they are. On the other hand, for the few people who are able to or care to look deeply into the situation, what is really there is not a personality, but an extraordinary field of spiritual energy from which they can draw nourishment for their innermost being. With this nourishment, they can attain complete maturity in the supreme state of pure consciousness. The secondary guru leads you to the well. The primary guru drinks from it. The physical aspect of the guru, the secondary teacher, serves as a doorway. Through our diligence, love, and devotion, we pass through this doorway of the physical teacher into the level of consciousness that Nityananda calls the active guru. This action or active guru is the same as Parabrahman, or Chidakash, the consciousness space, or supreme absolute. At this level, we express the infinite spaciousness, extraordinary power, and creative intelligence that are characteristics of the essential state of unity from which all experience takes its form. Liberation does not come searching for you. You must make the effort to seek it. The effort required if you sincerely seek God is to see through the form, to pass beyond the personality, the individuality, and the eccentricity of the teacher, and in so doing, to transcend your own personality and limitations. Draw the breath up to the Brahmarandra at the top of the head. Kindle the fire. Purify the subtle channels. Burn up the impurities. This is the yoga fire of deliberation, the pure energy of the Supreme. The power inherent in the presence of the Guru energizes every level of a human being. The transmission of this power is Shaktipat, the transmission or descent of grace. Shaktipat brings about a quantum leap in awareness that puts us in contact with the innate freedom and spontaneous creative power that is eternally and everywhere present as the source of all. It awakens the deepest potentiality within us, and the Kundalini Shakti begins its extraordinary unfoldment. As this unfoldment continues, the entire structure of the human being is refined and purified. When subjected to fire, iron is freed of its gross crystallization and impurities and reorganized as the finer, stronger metal of steel. The human being also, through contact with the forge of the Guru, becomes purified by the inner fire of Kundalini and is established in the supreme state of awareness. Seeing past the form of the physical teacher brings awareness of the power that is functioning as and through the teacher. And stilling the mind in the flow of the power is mukti. First, silence the mind and establish it in the self. Then, concentrate deeply with spiritual discernment. When the various waves of creative energy that form the mind are stilled and become like the surface of a calm lake, our awareness can penetrate our own depth and recognize the complete oneness of our individual self and the divine. Deep contact or connection with a guru enables us to feel so deeply secure and calm that we can begin to turn within and observe the workings of our inner universe without the doubts and fears and tensions that continuously draw the mind out of the ordinary person back into the realm of dualistic awareness. Mind is the root of bondage and liberation, of good and evil, of sin and holiness. The mind is both the entity to be stilled and the means of stilling it, for the nature of the mind is complex. Nityananda used many different terms to distinguish its facets. The major distinction is between manas and buddhi. Manas is the ordinary limited mind, and buddhi is the higher mind, the higher intellect, the one capable of subtle discrimination and spiritual discernment. In some classical Indian systems, the word chitta denotes the whole mental apparatus composed of three parts: the manas or perceiving mind, the buddhi, the discriminating mind, and the ego or I consciousness. Nityananda used body idea and body consciousness synonymously with I consciousness. Although simple thoughts, feelings, and desires arise in the mind is also capable of realizing jnana, true knowledge. Jnana is the highest wisdom, the wisdom of the jnani, one who has realized the self. Here again is a paradox, for the wisest one has transcended the mind and its desires. As Nityananda says, a jnani has no mind. And without a pure mind, how can you develop equal vision? Without practice, how can you develop balance? Through practice, the subtle intelligence develops and the desire for objects disappears. As our understanding expands and we begin to see beyond the body idea and beyond the limits of ordinary mind, a sense of detachment also grows. Detachment, desirelessness, and perfect dispassion for worldliness, what Nityananda called vairagya, are necessary requirements for the true seeker. The Sanskrit word sannyasi means renunciate, literally one who has cast away. However, renunciation is a subtle concept. It is not objects that we must renounce, but our desire for objects. Not actions, but our attachment to the result of those actions. True renunciation is not of things, but of the desire for things. So vairagya, or true dispassion, is the attitude leading to a state of understanding in which the true nature of objects is known. And consequently, these objects no longer have any power over one,